Agreed. Former Sony and Xbox executive Phil Harrison has been signed onto a hardware unit at Google. The unit has been working on smartphone technology and mixed reality, leading some to believe that the signing may be an indication of Google trying to compete in augmented or virtual reality games. Either way, it looks like Google will be competitive in the gaming market in the future. I don't know if I agree with him using the word competitive. We don't know that for sure.
Well, I mean, what else is Microsoft doing for that area of the industry?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. You could actually ask, what is Microsoft doing for the gaming industry right now, period?
I
Nothing.
mean, that's, yeah.
4K compatibility that nobody cares about right now?
I mean, yeah. Like, there's really nothing that they're doing at the moment that is terribly compelling. I mean, you know, in terms of added value, when you buy a console, the Switch, obviously the added value is the fact that it's portable.
Yep.
The added value on the PlayStation 4, you've at least got the PSVR.
Mm-hmm.
What is it for the Xbox?
4K. That's it.
Native. Okay, so
native 4K.
Native 4K. Anything else?
And that's only if you get the newest Xbox One X, right? That's it. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
You can play Xbox games on the PC. That's a good thing.
That's a feature. It's not.
So that just tells me that I should get a PC instead of an Xbox.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah,
That's exactly what it tells me.
But is Microsoft doing something for the gaming community, making them not have to buy Xboxes?
Okay.
Thank you. We appreciate that, Microsoft. Thank you.
I mean, honestly, like, you know, I've heard reports about the HoloLens not being good at all.
Is that still a thing?
It is still a thing. I don't know what the fuck Microsoft is doing, because, like, have we kind of not reached peak graphics right now? Like, where do graphics go from here?
Honestly, I wish they'd stop going anywhere. Like I wish we could all agree that, yes, graphics are as good as they need to be. Let's focus on other stuff now.
Well, but I mean, like, graphics engines and the ability to display, you know, things on screen have now exceeded the point to where it takes more time to actually, like, place all of the little bits of random shit than it does to actually, like, make that's what a lot of time is spent on in development. Like, that's why procedural generation is such a big deal, because if you want to make an actually big game, right,
you need to find a quicker way to do it.
Yes.
And you know what, that's what I feel like, if they're going to spend any extra money on something, do it on that, right? Wasn't it Kojima has some new engine that he basically just does like a 3D scan of something, and boom, it processes it, right?
Yes. Well, that was the Fox engine, which I don't think he has access to anymore. But whatever graphics engine he's working with now is I don't think it's a derivative of that even. I think it
might be the same thing that they, if I'm correct, it might be the same thing that they used for Horizon Zero Dawn.
And Heartslot in our chat saying that the next gen GPUs, they'll do more. I know they will, but to what end?
Is it worth it?
To what end? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, if games even get more deep, like, I feel like in a game like PUBG, right? You can see for as far as the draw distance will allow you to, right? And you can see someone, pixels large, and you can see them moving fairly clearly, and most arms most limbs articulated. It's not a fucking blurry mess, right? Like, and PUBG isn't even the most graphically intense game. Do games even? I mean, like, why? Like,
well,
I feel like there's so much of an emphasis being put on making the game look great, and not enough emphasis on making the game play great.
Nate.
And so many variables that you can throw in to fuck it in, halfway through. Like, why? Like, what is even the fucking point?
I will tell you the point. Why don't you look at some of the best games that came out in the past year and tell me that graphics aren't important? Breath of the Wild, Persona 5, the Pokemon... Oh. Graphics aren't important, guys.
I mean, my favorite games that came out in 2017 were not the greatest looking games.
No.
In fact, I think some of the best looking games that came out were probably some of the more frustrating experiences that I had gaming.
Really?
Yeah.
Such as?
I mean, you're putting me on the spot to think of something, but FF15.
Ugh.
The first game that comes to mind. Looked fucking fantastic. Animated very well. Played like a sack of potatoes.
We just had a conversation before the show. Should you play it yet, or are they going to add more stuff to the game?
Honestly, like I mean, I kind of want to try to finish it. There's always a part of me that wants to try to push through it and get to the end. But yeah, like I don't even know if it's fucking worth it anymore with the Royal Edition coming out.
I'm waiting, so I don't know if that tells you anything.
For Honor, there's another great example.
Yes, looked gorgeous.
Honestly,
Terrible game.
My favorite games that I plugged the most time into this year were not the best looking games. They just weren't.
See, I wouldn't even. I don't like the idea of using the term the best looking games, because Breath of the Wild, Persona, they all looked incredible, but they weren't the hyper realistic. That's what I think what developers need to either step away from or just take a minute to ask, what does it add looking more realistic?
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Like Lloyd brings up a great point. That's why indie gaming is kind of blowing up right now. Is because, they don't have the same amount of resources or the same amount of time to plug into, developing incredibly intense textures and shit like that. But I mean, like, if you get a good concept, your game will do well.
Undertale.
And
even look at Hellblade's Newest Sacrifice. That looked amazing.
It did.
So we're at a point now where you don't need to keep putting millions of dollars into adding a couple more billion pixels.
And that's what I'm saying, is that, like, it's to the point now where, yes, graphics technology will get better, but it will end up what the fuck was...
Did you hear that?
Did you fart?
Was that you?
Was that a fart?
That was a burp.
No way.
That went up through my throat. I was like...
So it was a throat fart.
Yeah, probably more like a throat queef.
That sounded like a fart.
And I'd like to point out that that's probably the best contribution he's made to today's show.
Probably.
All right.
Anyway.
You're welcome.
But I mean,
it without even trying.
But the thing is, though, is that, what you're balancing is the time that you have to spend developing these intensely detailed graphics versus... I mean, because you've got to pay designers every day that they show up to fucking work. You got to, like, it will bloat the budget to the point where you've got to sell a bajillion copies of the game.
Add microtransactions.
Have we not talked about this? Like, have we not talked about how the fact that games are so detailed now is what has bloated their budgets to the fact that to the point where they have to shove in microtransactions to make them even break even.
Yeah, so industry, listen up. If you don't want to spend billions of dollars on your video games, stop trying so hard with the graphics.
Video game industry's not listening to the show.
No, they're not.
They're not listening to the show.
A California couple has been ordered to pay a large sum of money in a legal battle against Twitch. Twitch took the creators of Shop Twitch